Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. It's around Credit Hound with our business partner, Draycir. So I'm just going to go through some housekeeping to start with. Now, we will be recording this session and it is recorded already. So if you do have any issues or if you have any questions, please pop it into the chat button or into the Q&A session, which Jenna has lovely marked out here, so the ease of use. Or if you want to raise your hand, then please do. But if you can all keep your cameras off and stay on mute just for the remainder, and then we'll be happy to answer any questions towards the end. So welcome to our live webinar today for Credit Hound. I'm going to go through a few slides with yourselves, and then we're going to dive into a live webinar with the lovely Alicia. So just an introduction. Myself, Laura Delaney. I'm sure most of you know who I am. You've heard my voice and some of you may have seen my face, but here I am in all my glory. And then we have the lovely Alicia Mansfield, who is our partner manager here at Draycir. I've worked with her for some time now. She makes my life a hell of a lot easier when I have to deal with Jason. So that's all good. So some of the objectives today that you're going to see, the benefits of automating your credit control process, you're going to demonstrate how you have a more advanced credit control system, which could be beneficial during challenging times. And it's going to show you how using Credit Hound can help you get paid faster, which is one of the main objectives that everybody really wants. So the agenda today, there's going to be an introduction to Credit Hound, how it can help your business. Alicia is going to dive into the demo and show you it in all of its glory. And then at the end, we're going to do a Q&A where we can answer all questions. But if you do have any that you want to ask us after, then by all means do. So without further ado, I am going to hand over to Alicia. And I'm going to stop talking.
Thank you for the introduction, Laura. That's superb. So as Laura rightly said, I am the partner manager here at Draycir, and I work closely with Laura and the rest of the Envisage team. I'm just going to try and get the slides up on my screen so I can show them to you. Once we have done that, I will go into a demonstration and we'll take a look at Credit Hound in action. I think we'll start first with talking a little bit about ourselves here at Draycir and who we are. I know some of you already use the Draycir suite, so it won't be entirely new to you, but I don't know if we've got any Credit Hound users on here yet, so we'll take a closer look at that today. Having a slight challenge because I can't see the slides at the moment for some odd reason. Bear with me. For some reason, it's entirely closed down the screen I was looking at with the slides on. Bear with.
Alicia, I can share. That's absolutely fine. And then you can just tell me when to move on. Do you want me to do that?
If you could, that would be great.
No
I'm having
problem.
a challenge finding them quickly.
No problem at all.
Thank you.
Okay. Now.
There we go. Thank you. So here we go. Firstly, a little bit about ourselves here at Draycir. We now operate globally. We're in over 54 countries, and we have got lots of industry awards, specifically around the Sage Marketplace. Some of those are lovely and shown on our cabinet casing there. Thank you, Laura. So next up, we're talking about the products that we have here at Draycir. Now, most of you are using some of these to some capacity. So this is a little bit of an FYI, so you're all aware now of that full suite that is available. So the Draycir, journey, so to speak, starts right at the beginning with the management of all the documents in and out of the organisation. From a user perspective, if we're printing documents out, it takes it from a really standard looking document to an all singing, fully branded pay now buttons, and also archiving it it against the transaction in Sage 200 and also viewable outside in our search tool. Of course, that's the same then for the documents coming in. We literally drag and drop them into the software within Sage 200, and all of our important documents are easily accessible at the click of a button. Everything is safe and secure, and there is no longer any time spent looking for these missing documents. Spindle Report Scheduler. The name, we like to keep things simple at Draycir, and the name is what it does. So it is a way of scheduling reports in Sage 200. So they'll run as and when and send to the relevant people. Within the suite, we've got Spindle Document Recognition, and this is where we've taken that capturing element to the next level. And actually with this, we can forward our invoices straight into the software for processing. It will line level match against the purchase order, check that those items have been goods receipted, then it will pop into the inbox of one of our approvers. Once they've approved, it will post and archive directly in Sage 200. Spindle Self-Serve. Now, this is an exciting one. This is a portal, and this is a way for your customers to actually be able to log in and view their relevant documents back. So if we're constantly getting calls for copy documents, proof delivery documents, now the customer can actually log in themselves and view what's relevant to them. They can go as far as placing orders within the software. There is lots and lots of functionality. Excel Data Bridge. Now, this is a way, again, we've kept it quite simple. It's getting data from Excel into Sage 200. Me and the Envisage team did a demonstration of this not too long ago, and it really is a way of getting data directly from Excel straight into Sage 200. It will complete some checks as doing, and once it's complete, that data is viewable there. And last but not least is the reason that we're here today, Credit Hound. And this really is a credit controller's best friend. It's a way of managing all the debt that's owed to the organisation, and we can chase it in one swoop and ensure that all of our customers are getting chased for the debt that they owe us, and include the copy invoice as well. Okay, next slide, please, Laura. Thank you. So how can Credit Hound help you and your customers? There is a variance of ways. It starts with chasing letters. So we can automate the chase letters to be sent from Credit Hound. It does that off a set of rules, and those rules will scan against all of your customers, and it will then see which ones hit that criteria and then send the relevant chase letter with the relevant invoices attached. One of the main reasons for non-payment is that age-old excuse of I've not received the invoice. We totally remove that excuse. No more. They've got it with every chase we send. You can actually get payment even quicker and easier. And I touched previously very briefly on the Pay Now button. We work with Sage Pay, whom are now a payer, WorldPay, and we've got Stripe integration coming. And on all of the documents we're sending out, whether that be the invoices, the chase letters, we can have both in the body of the document and in the email access to that Pay Now button. Within Credit Hound, there's lots of different screens to see. We've got a to-do list, and that reminds the credit controllers who to be calling. Once we've allocated monies in Sage 200, any chases due for our customers are automatically removed. We no longer need to chase for payment, but opposed to having to allocate the monies, then update somewhere so we know, that automatically flows through. We've got a real life chase screen, and that shows the chase audit history, anything that has happened to a customer account, whether that be a manual chase, an automated chase. And what brings me on to the next point, a dispute. So the credit controller is always the first person in the firing line for why somebody isn't making payment. I mean, that poor credit controller, it's then for them to pass it to the relevant person. Within Credit Hound, we can do that. Today, we are here as well to touch on the Codeless Alerts Pack, which is the newest piece of integration for Credit Hound. So Credit Hound has always been very much a one-way stream of traffic. It's our data coming from Sage into Credit Hound. We now have an alerts pack, which will actually get that data out of Credit Hound and update us via email of certain changes. So it may be that a customer has been placed on stop and we need to notify someone else within the organisation. It may be that a customer is over their credit limit. It may be that a new task has been assigned. We can now actually create those alerts so they can be triggered and notify the relevant people in the organisation as soon as it happens. Okay, next slide, please, Laura. Thank you. So before Credit Hound, now we're running age debtors reports, transferring notes, checking incoming payments, checking the diary, writing letters, getting breathless and tired, just saying all of this that a credit controller does. And it's an 80% admin role, and only 20% of their time is actually spent chasing. which for a credit controller, I mean, that's balmy figures. We can switch that entirely. Once Credit Hound has been implemented, the role becomes a 20% admin role with 80% of their time to be allowed to be spent chasing. And now the software can do a lot of it for us and really support us day to day. Consolidated accounting within Credit Hound. Now, quite often, a lot of our customers, they may place orders from different branches, but it may be head office that pays us. Again, Credit Hound can handle it. So we can actually set it up where we say, okay, we know that these branch levels or child level accounts will be chased via the head office, because that's ultimately who's going to be paying us. And we can set that up in the background. So that will all happen automatically. All right, without further ado, let's take a look at Credit Hound and the alerts pack in action. So I'm now going to start sharing my screen, and we're going into my virtual machine now. And we're going to start the journey in Credit Hound, okay? We're going to do a couple of different chases. We'll do a automated chasing, or a few of those first. Then we'll do a manual chase, touch on the reports, and of course, the codeless alerts pack. So when we first sign into Credit Hound, this is what we see. This is our overview of everything. We start with a bit of good news, which we all like. Who has paid me in the last 7 days? So once we've allocated those monies in Sage, I advised you that those chases will automatically be removed. If we want to look for a quick glance who they were, we can see the most recent allocations we've done. Next up, we've got an area called My Disputes, and this is where the credit controller has raised a query off the back of the chase that they've done, and they've advised someone else in the organisation to manage that. And again, we can take a look at us doing one shortly. Total debt, quite self-explanatory. Couple of bar charts and pie chart down here, and these are who has my money and where is my money. And we can see that it goes from a mouse pointer, if you're really eagle-eyed, to a hand. And when we see that change happen, we can drill down into that data and see what makes it up. Where is my money? Exact same principle. We can see it's color-coded to make it really clear what we are looking at. A reverse of raising a dispute. Sometimes the credit controllers get good news, and actually monies are going to be coming into us. So we've got a promised cash. So our credit controllers can actually record what monies are going to be coming into us off the back of the chases we've completed. Mini age debt bucket here, and we've got a quick launch here. If there were certain areas we want to get straight to, we can do. Now, this is all customizable. If there is certain bits your credit controllers don't find as important, they don't need to have them on their view. If there is other information that's more important, we can make it bigger and really customize this view to suit the credit controller. Let's take a look at our accounts and age debt screen. So there's lots of interactive screens within Credit Hound. And with us only having an hour, we're going to struggle to get through it all. So I'm going to give you a very light version. And of course, after this demonstration, get in touch with Laura and we can go even deeper into the software. So first up, let's take a little look at our age debt screen. Now, these are the columns that I deem appropriate to me and my business. If there are certain ones that are really important to you that you want to be seeing at the click of the button, again, it's so easy to tweak, so to speak. At the top here, we've got an area called columns. And if I drop that down, you can see we can bring through our Sage 200 analysis codes. We've got categories. Oh, that's a great one to talk about. Within Credit Hound, we've got something called groups and categories. We may have certain accounts that we wish to be suited to certain chase rules. Well, now we can actually treat those customers with certain different rules. So for example, our VIP customers, they may have one set of rules. Our bad payers, we may handle slightly differently. And we can actually group those within Credit Hound so that then when we run our automated chase rules, we can have a few based on all these different elements. So these are what we can add in to be able to do a little bit of analysis. This can be exported from here as well. Most likely you're going to come into the age debt screen, take a look into an account. Let's go with Abbey Retail. And then we're taken into that particular customer account screen. To begin with, we've got all of their invoices and credit notes listed at the top here. You can see we've got different colours. That's in stating whether an invoice is overdue, not due yet. So we know exactly what we're looking at. Whenever anything happens, we've got a recording of what's happened in terms of time and date, who's done it and what they've done. So for this particular invoice, if we just look at the bottom here, we can see we've got lots of notes against it and a dispute has actually been raised. If we go to the next one, we can see we've got no notes against those. Have we got any others with notes? Yeah, we have up here. So we've had a telephone chase follow-up letter sent here, and John's advised he didn't receive the invoice, but he's promised to pay by next week. So to the left of the screen, we've got some chasing statistics, so we can see how much time this customer is really taking from us, their cash and where it's flowing, what their balance is, overdue, amount in dispute, and their credit limit. Now, bottom of the screen, we're going to take our attention to now, and this is all that information coming directly from Sage 200 into Credit Hound. We've got our account information. Next up, our address, our chase screen that we utilise to complete a manual chase, record a promise to pay, record a dispute. Contacts, our first main contacts coming through from Sage 200, age, debt, turnover. Any further analysis codes that we wish to bring through. For myself, I've got region, salesperson, and account type. If we've got any disputes outstanding, we can see them here. Something worth noting, for the items that we can see here, we could actually have it so we see everything as a whole, so all transactions, or just those that are outstanding. Okay. We're not going to complete a manual chase just yet. We're going to do my favourite bit, which is my automated chasing. So in order to do an automated chase, this is where we're scanning all of our accounts, seeing which criteria it hits, and sending the relevant chase letter with the relevant invoice attached. To do this, I go to the same area that I go for my reporting, which we'll hopefully have time to see later. We go Tools and Rules. I like that it rhymes as well. I then have the telephone, or the chase list, should I say, the chase rules set to suit me and my organisation. These can be tweaked entirely and set up to suit yourselves and the chase cycle you wish to have. So for myself, we start with a preemptive letter. This is a really nicely worded, friendly reminder that payment is due in the next week. I then got my chase letter 1. This is when the debt is now overdue. So it's a little bit stronger worded, and when the debt is between 15 and 22 days overdue. I've then got chase letter 2 when things are getting more serious. The debt is now over 30 days overdue, and I'm not a happy bunny, and that letter will be going. And last but not least, opposed to creating a letter that's going via email, I can create a to-do in my diary. So it will create an actual manual task for me or one of the other credit controllers to complete. We'll start our journey with the preemptive letter like we would if we were really doing these chases. So all my accounts have now been scanned and 24 accounts hit that criteria. I could make the decision to deselect and not send a particular letter if I didn't want to, for whatever reason that may be. Within Credit Hound, we're also utilising the spindle document management functionality. So when I print in just a moment, it's going to be printed to Spindle Pro Auto. In doing so, it takes this from a really basic looking document, like I mentioned before, to a document that's fully branded, going to the relevant email addresses, adding any attachments, and archiving it in the relevant location. Okay. We'll let those rules run, and then what we'll do is we'll move on to the second rule, which is our chase letter 1. This time we're going to click in edit, and we're just going to take a bit of a deeper dive. So my chase letter 1, we've got some rule criteria. I'm not the most technical person, disclaimer. So as a result, we've got the description, which is in Alicia language, which is fabulous. So what all of this criteria down here is going to do is write the chase letter 1 to accounts with an undisputed outstanding invoice over 15 days overdue, but less than 22 days, who have not been chased in the last 7 days, and where the amount outstanding is over £1 and account balance over £5. And what that's going to do is it's going to write a letter that's going via email to my customers. What I will do is we will run that rule. We can see we've got another 25 records hit that criteria. And again, all I'm going to be doing is hitting print, printing it to that spindle printer. It's going to add my relevant branding, archiving it, putting any pay now buttons on. Whilst we're here, let's also run chase letter 2. And we've got 46 records that match that criteria. So I'm going to run that again. We're going to hit that print button. And what we've just done whilst I was talking is we've chased 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 85, approximately 85 accounts in about, I don't know, how long have I spoken for? A couple of minutes, a minute or two, let's say. And that is the way in which we can actually chase all our accounts, or lots of them that hit that criteria so speedy. And from the user perspective, we've not had to spend time getting the relevant invoices, checking the age debt report, confirming anything. It's all happened in one big swoop. If we go to my emails now, we will be able to see we have got lots of reminder letters that have popped into our inbox. And these have actually got the relevant chase letter and the relevant invoice attached. It's taken it from a really blank looking document to a HTML email, the option to make payment within the body of it. If we open up the actual chase letter as well, we'll see that this has been, all relevant invoices have been noted. This is a copy of the original invoice distributed to the customer, and the relevant invoice has been attached also. Huge time saving, I can't tell you. And of course, within the invoice, we've also got that Pay Now button, which we can be prompted from here to make payment. And my T's and C's of sale are automatically attached as well. To take this back a step, if we are processing and using Sage 200, we're raising our invoice within Sage. We press print on that invoice. If we're using that document management piece, this is actually then viewable against the transaction in Sage 200, which is great for the team there. Then for when your credit controllers, when they come in and complete their chases, they can also see all of their relevant documents. The last one is to create a to-do in my diary. So opposed to it creating a letter that's going via email, it's creating a to-do for me to pick up the telephone and complete a manual chase. That leads me on nicely for us to do exactly that. Let's complete a manual chase. We will go into my age, let's go to our accounts list. And we'll stick with Abbey Retail, who I used for the last example. I think, yes, we will. Let's keep with them. And we'll go in and complete a manual chase. So this is now, we've done all my automated chasing. I've chased all the accounts that hit that criteria today. Now I want to do a manual chase and do some follow-up. So we hit the start chase button at the bottom here. It advises me everything outstanding for this customer, which is amazing. It means, again, I'm notified of everything. If my colleagues are working on anything, I can see it here. If we're happy to continue, we hit the continue button. We can see now that the timer has started, and this happens so that we can see which customers are really taking our time. And actually, do we need to explore how our payment terms with certain customers if they're taking too much of our time? From within here, let's log a manual chase. So what we'll do this time is the credit controller. Unfortunately, I've just got an ear bashing. The customer isn't making payment. We've got a reason as to why. So I'm going to right click and add a dispute. These reasons are set to suit me and my organisation. You know, we're providing actual products here. If you're services, you're perhaps going to have slightly different dispute reasons. For myself, we'll go that the goods are faulty. We've then got a letter wizard pops open, and I've got two boxes, client notes and internal notes, and I can't type and talk and use my imagination. So we'll just pop client notes, go here. Apologies for the spider fingers. I've got a Dell laptop and the camera's in a really bizarre location. We've then got the area here where our internal notes go here. Now, this can be utilised in the way you're seeing me do it now, or it could be you don't want the letter to go to the customer, in which case that's absolutely fine. The reason we do it is so that we can send our SLA information, advise that we've taken their problem on, and we're working to rectify it. Then got two dates. We've got a review date and a resolution date. These are going to create, again, two to-dos in my diary. The review date is when I touch base with the person managing this query, which could be the ops director, the ops manager. It could be somebody in the finance team. It could be the customer service manager. It could be the MD. We can actually assign the dispute to that particular person, and it's for them to handle it and manage. And we can send a copy to anybody that it's relevant to. These two to-dos will pop up in my calendar so I know exactly when I can start chasing for that money again. We'll assign a copy to, we'll go for the ops manager and save and close. What we could do at this time is actually go on then potentially for another invoice. They've agreed that they're going to be making payment. If I just show you how I highlight multiple invoices, the amount promised increases or decreases to suit. So if we're on the phone and they say, yes, Alicia, great news, invoice A, B, and C are going to be made, payment for these invoices, we can record all of that in one maneuver. We're not having to run lots of different operations. We do it all here. If we're happy we've completed that chase, it's now saying, do I want to include it or exclude it from my automated chasing? As this customer has a problem, as said, I like to make the decision of excluding it from automated chases once that has happened. So we simply hit finish. My letter wizard is about to be prompted, which is similar to what you saw me pressing print on with the automated chasing. So we're taking it from this document here, not branded. We've got our client notes go here. So this is the letter that's going to go to my customer. And we can print it through to Spindle Pro. We've then also got my copy of my internal document, which will pop up in just a moment. Here we go. And we've got two boxes here. We've got the client notes section and my internal notes. So our internal user can then see exactly what's gone to the customer and exactly what they need to be aware of, whom we've assigned it to and who it's been recorded by. We'll print it through to Spindle again. Now, this is an internal document, so we haven't spent as much time on the branding and the configuration of it. We've kept it quite basic. It's going internal. All of our fancy looking documentation is when documents are going externally to the customer. So that is a manual chase complete. As quick as that. So we go into the customer, we record the outcome of the call. If it's good news, it's a promise to pay, or it's just a note advising of what the call stated. If it's not so good news, it's a dispute, we record it, and then we move on to the next customer. And that's as long as it could take, well, as long as the telephone call takes, I suppose. If we go to my emails now, we'll just take a little look at what that has created. It should pop through into my inbox any moment. We'll leave that to run for a second. We'll see those invoices and chase letters and disputes arrive in my inbox. Now, of course, this is a demonstration, so the email addresses are made up. I hate to say it. So as a result, we actually have them going to my drafts. Of course, in the real world, they go directly from your sent email. If we pop into my drafts now, we can see all of those rules are running. We've got some more reminder letters going. So that must be our chase letter 2 that's just on the way to my customers. And the next thing that we'll see pop up or appear will be my dispute documentation. Okay. Whilst that's coming through, let's take a little look at a couple of the other views that we have. We've got a calendar view. Within the calendar here, we can see lots of the different things that are due for each day. It is colour coded, so callbacks are coloured in blue, dispute reviews are yellow, dispute resolve dates are red. This could be standalone and stored as you see my setup here. Alternatively, it could actually be so that it's linked to your Outlook calendar. Now, this isn't usually the preference, but some people do want that functionality, so it's certainly worth you being aware of. The more you use Credit Hound, the more you can potentially see day to day. I've got a more favourite view yet again, and it's my to-do list. I like a good list, being able to see everything outstanding for today, the future, and I can actually also apply lots of filtering within here. So similar to how we saw with that age debt, if there was a particular subject, a particular callback type that I wish to search on, I can do so very easily. We can actually reassign tasks to other Credit Hound users. So if I need to pop this into one of the other credit controllers' calendars, I can also do that from within here. Let's now just close down all these screens and we'll take a look at Credit Hound dispute emails that have been raised. We can see first up, we've got my dispute notification to the customer. And this is where we've just logged that dispute. The customer's got an issue. They're not making payment for reason X, Y, and Z. We've got the HTML email that's to suit. And we've also got the dispute notification that's gone from that standard document, fully branded, in keeping with the rest of the business. That area where you saw me write client notes go here, that's visible here. And we've also got my dispute handling terms. So this is essentially my SLA. We've then got the copy of the relevant invoice attached that this is in relation to. Next up, we've got my email that's gone internally, and we make it really clear it's for this particular person to handle the problem. It's for Paul at Homestyle to manage. More basic looking email, but it details the reason for the dispute. We've got a dispute notification letter as well, which details both those two notes that we saw before, and also the relevant invoice or invoices, depending on whether the dispute is in relation to lots of things or just the one or two. So next up, what we'll do, I think, is we'll take a little look at the codeless alerts piece. So historically, Credit Hound has been a one-way piece of software. So the info is coming from Sage 200 into Credit Hound. There is one piece of info that flows back, and that is when we place an account on stop. If we quickly put an account on stop, let's put Better Kitchens on stop so I can show you. We've literally got this put account on stop button. That flows directly back through to Sage 200. The codeless alerts piece then integrates with Credit Hound. So opposed to everything being stored in that one location, when something happens, it can trigger an event which notifies somebody via email. So that could be, in fact, let's go to it and take a look. Here are the 12 rules that I've got set up within the codeless piece that attaches to Credit Hound. I've got accounts when they've been put on stop, accounts that have hit their credit limit, transactions when they're over a certain amount of days, transactions that have been assigned to me to manage. They're just a few examples. And these will actually be run and triggered when an event happens and notify the relevant people via email. So if we wanted, for the purpose of the demonstration, what I'm going to do is I'm going to trigger them to run now. But as said, this will all happen in the background when using the software. If ever you wanted to, you've got the option to come in and trigger them as you'll see me do now. So we'll just get a couple of these being run. We'll just simply hit the Q Now button. This is where it's then scanning all of those Credit Hound accounts. It's seeing what steps the account's been through. Are any accounts being placed on stop? We'll also do customers that are over their credit limit. So any customers that have hit above their credit limit are going to be flagged now. A new task has been assigned to me. Let's get that one queued as well. And also disputes that have been transactions that have been in dispute for over 30 days. That's a real good management one as well, that quite often people are going to want to be able to see, okay, which accounts have actually had a dispute for over the period of time we should. If we've set our SLA to 30 days, there shouldn't be any outside of that window. If there are, this is a great way for them to be flagged, notified via email, and then we can work off the back of them. If we pop into my inbox now, we should be able to see a couple of those alerts flowed through. So here's one. We can see that customer that I placed on stop has now been placed on stop, and I've been notified via email. These could go to all of the different people. Of course, as it's a demonstration and I need access to them, I'm having them popped into my drafts for this purpose. Next up, a new task has been assigned to you. So again, it's just that way of making sure everybody knows what they need to be handling. This one has actually gone to a couple of people, and we've CC'd in the accounts team as well. Transactions have been in dispute for over 30 days. I'm disappointed to say that we have got a couple. We have got two that are with Abbey Retail and one with Kitchens You Like. These guys now need some extra attention so we can ensure that we manage this in a timely manner. A Credit Hound user could then pop straight back into Credit Hound and perform any of the tasks they have been notified of. Okay, we've got one more thing to look at. We're at 10:30. Let's go into the reports. I'm hoping everything you're seeing so far is making sense. So we've looked at that Credit Hound creating or completing the automated chasing and how that happens. We come in, we press run, we deselect any customers we don't want to chase at that time. Any we do, relevant chase letter sent and the invoice attached. We've looked at the manual chase, which is where we're picking the telephone up and we're recording something off the back of the conversation with the customer I've called. We've then seen the letters that can create off the back of it and the reminders in my calendar. We've now also looked at the alerts piece, which is what is actually going to notify other users of or other internal team members of things that are happening on their customer accounts. It may be great for the sales team to be notified if a dispute is put on a customer account. That way they know before they make their sales call that actually be wary, this customer's got this ongoing problem, maybe touch base with the person handling it before you speak to them so you know what's happening. really is all the key to this. Is it's all about communication, making sure everybody is aware and it's all happening within the software. So last but not least, let's take a real quick look at these reports. Now, these are all as standard, would you believe? So these are literally out of the box already. We've got accounts on stop, age debt full, callback analysis with notes, callback summary, I believe. Dispute analysis, outstanding disputes. My gosh, lots and lots of reports straight out the box. As you know, and you will know already, I have favourite things within Credit Hound. One of my favourite things here is the transaction dossier report. If we click run on this one, now this is a hefty report, okay? This is sort of everything as a whole. We can add in lots of additional filtering if desired. You'll see those in the middle of the screen now. Account sorting, transaction sorting, and analysis codes can be brought through. If we're happy, we're just going to run this for everything. And you'll see that this will then create a large report which has got everything to do with all my accounts, automated chases, manual chases, disputes that have been raised. Everything is listed in this report. And we can export all of the reports in these formats: PDF, XLS, CSV. You can see them here. We can also email directly from here as well. Quite often people will export to Excel and manipulate the data further from there. Promised cash, that's a great one to be able to see what monies are coming in, more from a management perspective. Obviously, the Credit Hound users have got everything that they would go into, but if you want a management license to just come in for running reports, it's a really useful one. We give lots and lots of ways of managing the to-do list for the day. We've got the calendar view, we've got the to-do list. We've also got two reports: outstanding to-do items for today and outstanding to-do items as a whole. The last one we're going to touch on today, before we go back to the PowerPoint slides and do a bit of a summary, is actually the outstanding disputes. And the reason I'm bringing your attention here is because it's a great way to be able to highlight. I know we don't like problems within an organisation, but we all have them. And actually, this will highlight if there is any sort of patterns. If we're constantly seeing people not making payment because we've done X, Y, or Z incorrectly, we get to really be able to see that. And we've got them in a range of ways. We've got summaries, we've got outstanding disputes as a whole. We'll quickly just run one of them here. If we wanted to see specifically if certain ones that have been assigned to, we've got that filtering option there. I think this is the one that's got some, no, this isn't the one with some pretty charts, never mind. This is all of the different disputes and the notes and what's happened with them, the dates we're expected to resolve them, when they were raised, the amount in dispute. Not the one I wanted to show you, perhaps it's this one, which has got some really great bar graphs. Still not the right one. It'll be the last one I pick, won't it? Let's take a look. No, I think it's the same one. Never mind. Okay, the idea is we have got so many different reports that will tell you anything you need to know about the debtors and the monies owed to the organisation. Age debt full, last one I promise. I know I said the outstanding disputes were, but let's do this one. Again, for the age debt, we can export it from here. We can really drill down into the data, take a further look at the accounts and everything that is owed to us. But not only do we have it here, we've got that age debt interactive screen that we saw at the start. That all was a whistle-stop tour of Credit Hound and the Codeless Alert Pack. I'm going to pass you now to Laura to be able to start sharing her screen again, if you could be so kind.
Thank you very much for that. This will stop. Yep. So we are going to, where are we? Okay. So thank you very much, Alicia. That was brilliant, as usual. So just going back to the slides, as you can see, there are different types of users. So Alicia, do you want to just touch on that?
Yeah, absolutely, Laura. Thank you. So as I mentioned during the presentation, I touched on specifically towards the end, a management user being able to log in and just run reports and have more limited capabilities. So we've got our full system user at the top. That's our all singing, all dancing credit controller doing manual chases, automated chasing. We've then got our business intelligence user, which is great for management, which is where they have the ability to run reports, review accounts and review chase information, but don't actually complete chases. And then we've got a limited user, and this is somebody who can add notes to an account or a transaction, but they don't have the automated chasing functionality. It's a user license for somebody who's going to be making a telephone call every now and then, and it's important they can record a note, but they aren't doing that full credit control process.
Brilliant, Alicia. Thank you so much for that explanation and for the demo.
No problem, Laura.
So
Thank
just
you.
going on to our next slide, the benefits. So it automates the credit control process, reduces the administrative tasks, reduces bad debts, saves time. There's a more comprehensive reporting, and then there's a quicker return on investment. So lastly, I just want to check, have we got any questions there, Jenna?
No, nothing seems to have come through. I think everything was answered during the webinar.
Demo. Perfect. Okay. Well, look, if there are any further questions beyond this webinar, then please do contact us, get in touch, give me a call on the number provided. You can email the support email address that's there, the sales, or you can contact me direct. But look, if you pop it through to the sales email, then I'm on that as well. So I can give you a call. We can organize another demo, and it can be specific to your business. So that's not a problem. But I just want to say thank you everyone for watching. It's been brilliant. Alicia, you've been amazing as usual. Jenna, thank you for organizing. And again, please send any queries or questions onto the support or sales email, or just pick up the phone and give us a call. So thank you very much, everyone, and goodbye.
Thank you, everybody. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.